What's up, everyone? We're going to give it just a few minutes for people to come on the live webinar. I'm really excited to be presenting this information with you guys. I mean, this has been kind of like a dream come true for me. You know, the last couple of months with my partnership with Facebook and what's been happening within the company, with clients and DMP and our e-commerce business, I found it a more of a need now than ever to share this information with you. I get hundreds of people who reach out to me every single day. You know, I have almost 100,000 followers between Instagram and Facebook. A lot of the followers on Facebook are fairly new. They're seeing my video because Facebook's boosting campaigns around it, and you're new to the page. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a brief history on who I am. And before I get into that, here's just some rules, right? You're going to learn a lot of information over the next 35 to 45 minutes. And so any background distractions that you have, just shut them down, turn them off, turn off the TV. Don't let any, if you have any kids, just set them to the side. But just give your undivided attention to this information, because this is what people have been asking me about. And instead of me reaching out to people individually, I can't do it. I'm really busy. I figured this is the best way for me to do it. And you're going to gain a lot of insight. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn how I got my partnership with Facebook and how you can too. You're going to learn how to launch an idea. I'm going to teach you how to become unclouded mentally, because a lot of people have said I have a lot of ideas but lack the ability to know how to execute. I'm going to be teaching you how to take your idea and or product, right, and then put that on other channels, what your marketing method should be. And if you're a small business owner, this is definitely for you. I'm going to teach you what you should be doing right now to get the attention of your ideal consumer, and how then to rev up your marketing and scale what you have going on. This applies to individuals, and it also applies to businesses. So here's who I am, and this is just who I am. I'm a college dropout, guys. It's interesting. I've been, in business for the last 15 years. I was a weekly columnist. My background is very interesting. I was flat broke at one time, and I remember losing my first business and thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I lost everything. I was starting at really at ground zero. And then some people call it square one. I call it ground zero. I had no money. I had a car that was about to be repossessed. I remember when I lost my business, my mom had to cover my car note for the first 2 months because I couldn't afford to keep it. And it was a 5 Series BMW, so it wasn't like it was a pretty cheap car. It was pretty expensive. And so I took all the things that I learned from losing my first business in my 20s, and I used that to build at scale. And there's some fundamental things that I learned when it came to building a business. And one of the things was never put all your eggs in one basket. The one thing that I see a lot of small businesses do is that they actually put all their energy and effort into their business. And you should do that. With all due respect, this is your baby. You built this from scratch. We deal with business owners all the time, wineries, universities, restaurants, 5-star restaurants, coffee shops. We deal with, you name it, we've dealt with clients, nutritional companies. And the one thing that I feel like I should say is that it's okay to diversify your income. It's okay to be a small business and have multiple streams of income, right? It's okay to have the Warren Buffett principle, which is you make money and then you have your money make you money, and then you rinse and repeat. It's okay to take what you make and put it into a compound interest account. It's okay to do all of these things, so that way you have more things brewing, if you will, when it comes to your financial ability to scale up and or sustain, and just to be diverse, right? And so that's one of the things I learned, and that's the one thing that you're going to hear a lot of me talk about throughout this webinar, is how to generate multiple streams of income, which is what I like to call a cash muse. And so that's the first thing. The second thing that I learned was to be smart about not overextending myself. It's very easy when money starts to come in to overextend yourself. It's, for me, I overextended myself to a very great degree. And I learned that can come and bite you in the behind. And so I learned that. So don't overextend yourself. And then I really just took a lot of the ideas that I had, which is right here, how to execute an idea. And I literally just put the pedal to the metal. And I said, I'm going to become hyper-focused, laser-focused on launching an idea and sticking with it. And so you're going to learn all that in this webinar. So, again, I'm Tiana Burst, and not so long ago I was flat broke, and I didn't have this cute studio company space. Didn't have, in behind the camera, I didn't have a lot of things. My partner and I stayed focused, and we started to build something at scale. My brand has grown to a point where Facebook has handpicked me as one of their official creators. I get paid from Facebook, from their advertisers. They're one of my customers. I'm one of their suppliers. Also, we have a very successful e-com business. We know that with the e-commerce, you make 80% of your income during this last quarter of the year. You make 20% of your income during the other quarters of the year. So if you're a business and you have a product, or you're an individual and you have a product that you want to launch, this webinar is going to be for you. I'm going to teach you how we've done that. Right now, our sales are between $1,000 to $2,000 per day, and we've been open for business with e-com for the last 15 days. That's pretty impressive. There are wineries who don't sell bottles of that capacity online every single day. And then we have our social media agency, which is really a consultant firm. And we look at a business and we say, okay, this is where we dissect it. The business owner has to be very transparent about what they're going through. And we come in, we dissect it, we create the marketing strategy. And if they want us to implement it, we do. And if they don't, we get paid a nominal fee for the information. So that's a little bit on who I am. As you can see, I just went over multiple streams of income. I'm in contract with Sac State. They pay me for keynote speaking, and I'm a college dropout. It's pretty impressive. Obviously, with e-com income and my own personal brand, and then District Media Press. So that's just 4 of 7 that I will mention in this webinar. But what I've learned in life is this, is that if you are not smart about your approach to building something, then you will not be in a position to either A, sustain or build at scale. And the whole point of someone acting upon their ideas and executing a goal is to be able to have the idea, launch the idea, and then scale the idea so that you can live what your ideal life will look like. And I know, and for me, I think one thing that I have done very well is I just never quit too. You know, a lot of people say, you're just so consistent. That's the one thing that you'll hear people say, T's just been so consistent. It's funny, I was at the grocery store the other day, and I hate going out sometimes in my neighborhood around 5 o'clock because I know I'm going to see people that I know there. It's inevitable. And I heard someone yell my name. They said, T, and I was like, are they yelling my name? And I was like, are they yelling my name? And I look and they're like, hey, how's it going? I know you got something going on. What are you working on? What are you doing? And I said, everything's been great. Got featured in Mogul Magazine, Entrepreneur Magazine, Thrive Global, CBS, SNR, CW, 31, you name it. And I got a company, and I'm just telling him all these things because he asked me. And he goes, well, dang. He's like, you deserve it because you've been at it for like so long, for 15 years. And I laugh because I go, what are the other options? Like, what are the other options for me? Like to quit? It's like you on your job. If you've been on your job for 15 years, you're going to quit? No. So for me, it's a way of life. And I'm going to walk you through how I've developed that mindset in this webinar. And that's for those of you who maybe aren't a small business, who literally want to launch an idea. Sorry about that glitch, guys. We had technical difficulties. Like I said, this is live, and sometimes when you're live, things don't go as planned. So we are back. Thanks for sticking with us. Technology glitches happen. So let's get back into this. So how to execute an idea. I'm going to give you the basic fundamentals right now. The first thing is this. You have to make the vision plain. What exactly do you want to do? Before I start my day, or before I launch an idea, or before I do anything, I ask myself, what is my intention for today? Is my intention for today to go out and make $4,000 because I know that I can do that between e-com and small business clients? Or is my intention today to be the best me I can be? Or is my intention today to launch another idea? Or is my intention today to do webinars like this? So you have to set an intention for your life, and you have to set an intention for what you want. So the first step to executing an idea is saying, all right, what does it look like? What's the intention behind what it looks like? And then why do you want to launch it in the first place? A lot of people get into business for the wrong reasons. They think they're going to get into business to have this glitz and glamour and what you see on Instagram and walking next to a private jet and on a sailboat. And some of those things are a reality moments in time. But for the 98% of the population, that is not a reality. In fact, they're posing. They're posing in front of a jet that's not theirs. For me, I may go on a sailboat in San Francisco and document it and create an educational aspect to having a day for me on a Monday on a sailboat. But make no mistake about it, when I get home, I'm working the next 12 hours. So I think it's important to, number one, create a reality for yourself that is not on social media. Because when you do that, if you're trying to execute an idea and you're basing it on what people are doing and what you're seeing, it's going to kill you. It's not a reality. So you really have to base it on what's a real reality of launching an idea and being an entrepreneur. And so that would be it. What is the intention? The other thing I would do is, what do you want to call it? Are you going to break down your business model as, are you a real estate agent and you want to brand yourself and that's the idea that you have? Are you someone who wants to be a motivational speaker and you need to brand that idea? Are you someone who has a product? Do you want to brand that idea? Are you someone who's like me and it could be a consultant and provide a service and you want to brand that idea? Break down exactly what it is that you want. This is right here. This is the number one thing that I see people doing wrong because they think there's a shortcut. They try to go around this because they don't want to take the time to put it on paper and to really figure it out, and it ends up killing them. They end up either not launching the idea or the idea crash and burns and then people say, I told you so, and now you feel like crap. And so I don't want that to happen. People who are great, they do the little things in a great way every single day. Okay? They do the little things in a great way every single day. They don't try to shortcut the areas that matter the most. And to be quite honest, you may look at all of the things I'm going to share with you tonight and go, oh, 80% of that's great. And you may ignore the 20%. But the problem is that the 20% I share is what's going to drive the 80% of what's in your gut and what you're seeing, what you're attracted to based upon this information. So focus 100% on number one, which is figure out what it is. Are you service-based? Are you product-based? It's like someone opening up a store or you're a small business. We have a restaurant that does very, very well, and their intention was to get the best location in the best place of the city and then serve the best food and locations in their favor. So that was their intention. So they executed their intention and their idea the right way. And they've been great for the last decade. The market tanked, they didn't tank. Other businesses closed down. They were fine. So be sure that you understand what it is you're going to bring to the marketplace because that's really, really important. The other thing is when you get to that point, you know exactly what it is. Go buy the doggone domain. Don't be stupid. Okay? Like I'm saying that respectfully. I have seen so many people say, oh my gosh, I meant to buy that domain. That was my idea. Yeah, but you didn't do it. Right? So the first thing I would do before you tell your idea to anybody, go to GoDaddy.com. It's probably a link somewhere in this video. Go to GoDaddy.com, buy your domain. Buy your first and last name.com, and then buy your ideas domain. Do that. Invest in yourself. That's number one, okay? I can't stress that enough. I've had people who didn't buy a domain that did very well, and someone had bought it and then sold it back to them for $3,000 when they could have bought it for $399. I mean, this is a real business. I mean, if you want to talk about many different business layers, that's a business that people actually do every day, and they make tens of thousands of dollars because when you're searching a domain and you don't buy it, someone's on the back end watching you, and if they see the value and they buy it and your idea blows up, you're now having to buy that back from them for 19, 20 grand. It's happened to some of the biggest businesses you can ever think of. Trust me, it happens every single day. So once you actually do that, then you've got to figure out how you're going to market it. Now, in some cases, many people may say, all right, T, I get it. I get that I have to do this, but this is going to cost me money. The idea that I have is going to cost me money. I need to raise money. Well, you could do that, but I'm going to give you a different strategy here. When you are successful in your own right, or when you're making a lot of noise on the internet, people will throw money at you because they've seen you make it happen. They believe in you. You know, if you've never dealt with investors, I know I have. They put money behind people who are leading the company. I've had people who wanted me to invest, and my partner and I have looked over and said, I would never put a dime into this person because this person lacks vision, lacks clarity, lacks putting the time, lacks the mindset, lacks the motivation. You can clearly see it. So keep that in mind when you are launching something and you need to raise money. They're investing in you. They may invest in the idea, and the idea might work, but there are millions of people who have ideas that are amazing that fail every single day, that got money in their hands because they could not create a sustainable business model, because they could not do it. They couldn't see it. They didn't know what the intention was. They literally did not have the right execution. So I'm telling you, sometimes in life, we have to get out of what we think we need. You may not need money to launch an idea. You may need to be resourceful. And I think that people just lack resourcefulness. Before things started to elevate for us, I was my own PR person. I was like a third-party person who got myself speaking at Sac State. Like I was very smart. I played the game. And so sometimes you just got to learn how to play the game. And a part of that is trying to figure out how to be resourceful with your idea and make it happen with or without any capital. Now, part of that is maybe starting to brand yourself, right? How to market your brand or your idea is to brand yourself. It's very easy. Let's say you're a real estate agent. I would launch a podcast and I would go interview every homeowner in the area that you know has booming real estate. And I would introduce myself and I would say, what makes you like this part of Carmel, California, or Sacramento, or Carmichael? And I would literally do a podcast, make it engaging and insightful, and I would literally pump that into the market. That's how you brand your idea. That's how you brand and get more business. The other thing I would do is, let's say that you are in the service base, right? If you have an idea and you need to raise capital, but you know you have the knowledge to do it, think about maybe being in the service industry. See, I'm a consultant. So a consultant is anyone that gives advice of a professional or semi-professional nature in exchange for compensation. All I'm doing is exchanging what I know to be true and what I know is going to work with my team. And we're giving it to you. And that's our knowledge into you to help your situation become better. Therefore, I'm compensated for it. So some of the ideas that you have, you may think that you need money. You may think you need more resources, but you need to be A, more resourceful, and 2, think about providing your knowledge to other industries or a specific niche because you specialize in it and get paid to do it. And then start to use your own money to reinvest in yourself, reinvest in your business, okay? So I can't stress that enough. In the very beginning of my company, we definitely needed to raise money. And I didn't do it. I had some investors that were on the table that were waiting for funds to come in. And what ended up happening was, as things started to elevate, people started to want to throw money at a crazy fee. Like they wanted to own 30% of the company. And because they saw something happening. And so you want to be in a position where you can either A, take that kind of deal or turn it down. But you don't want to be, I would say, at the sacrifice of lack of being resourceful because you didn't know how to be more resourceful in order to launch an idea. I want to make that very clear. And so how do you market it? So let's go back to this real quick. How do you market an idea? It's very, very, very easy. We live in a world where we have Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, right? SEO, we have websites, we have blogs. And so it's very easy to market your idea. Now, how to do it, the fundamentals, that part becomes it's a little bit of a gray area because I don't maybe know what you guys want to do, but I know that as you start to execute on your idea, I would leverage social media. I'd leverage Facebook. I'd look at what you're offering. I'd look at the demographic that could be the potential buyer because when you're launching something, guys, you can't just launch it. You should probably know who your target audience is. You should probably know who your customer is if you already have an establishment. And so what you can do from there is focus on the platforms that are directly related to your either potential customer or the target audience that is already buying from you. If you're a restaurant and you're a 5-star restaurant and your demographic is 60-year-old or 50 or 40-year-old corporate people in corporate America who are making $100,000 a year or more because your steak costs $50, then you're not going to be targeting your steak on Instagram. You're going to be targeting your steak on Facebook and then targeting that demographic completely because that's as transparent as Facebook is. So I would dive incredibly deep into if you haven't launched it yet, who's your ideal buyer? Who is the person that's going to go knock on your doors and going to buy from you, okay? And if it's not knocking on your door physically, knocking on your door on the internet. So that's what I would start with as well. Now, on the flip side of that, I think you are your brand. I think that any business, whether you're a real estate agent, a broker, if you are someone who is in a home-based business, if you're someone who has an idea, if you're someone who is the owner of a restaurant and you're not afraid to be in front of the camera, if you're someone who's in any industry, you can name it all, nutrition, if you're launching a company or you have a nutritional-based company, I would tell you this. It is incredibly important, and some people, now I don't know how you operate. There's a lot of business owners who don't want to be in front of the camera, that want to be the face of their business. But the ones who do, the ones who are, those are the ones who really do succeed. And their businesses thrive and they get sales and it really helps them to drive traffic. It drives relationship building with the customer. It drives relationship building with the potential client. And so I highly advise that if you are anything goal-getting entrepreneur based, that you discover how to become the face of the entire brand. It doesn't discount or diminish what you're offering or what you're selling. All it is that's a marketing strategy that has worked incredibly well. I have stats on it. We have studies on it. We're doing it. I'm the face of DMP. That's generated so much revenue and so many clients that make 700 grand a month and make $3 million a year, right? So 8.5 million a year and $3 million a year as well. So you have to understand that we live in a different era. We live in an era where at some point over the next maybe 5 years, maybe the next decade, if you do not have someone with a camera following you or you're not vlogging yourself as a brand, then you're going to be looked at like you're weird, right? Right now everyone's looking at us like we're weird because we're out there with a camera person. We went to a restaurant yesterday and they're like, what is this? So right now we're weird, but for the next decade, it's going to be the norm. And if you're not ahead of it, then you're going to be left out. I mean, come on now, if your competitor's doing it and you're not, and we understand that the ability to get someone's attention on social, just like I have yours right now, then I'm going to go to the competitor who's more entertaining because I can see them behind the scenes and they're the brand. Like, it's just the way it is. And so I'd really focus on that, especially if you already are established or you are in a service-based, for sure, entrepreneur, business owner, definitely focus on that. Now let's talk about how to accelerate your income. This is incredibly important. I talked about it earlier on purpose. If you do not have multiple streams of income, you will be losing, okay? If you look at some of the biggest businesses in the world, they lacked innovation, they shut their doors, and I don't know what their financials look like, but I know for ours, if we do not have 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 streams of income, then we're going to be losing. See, in business, you guys, you got to understand this. People, especially investors too. I was talking to an investor about 6 months ago, and he was like, oh man, the company that he's invested in, he put in $100,000, and it's doing well. It does about $400,000 in sales, okay? That's very, sales is very different than actually netting, okay? Gross and net are two totally different things. You can do 400 grand a year in sales and only bring in like maybe 50 grand in actual net revenue. So sales is different than growth. Gross is different than net. And he was saying how he was having to move money from a profitable business into a business that he invested in that was dying. And he was trying to keep it and grow it and sustain it. You see, in life, and especially at the higher level of business, you play the money game. You know, if we have more than one income, then it doesn't matter maybe what DMP does if we're making 1 to 2 grand a day in sales on our e-com, because I can funnel the money to cover people over here. So you don't just want to have one source. I don't recommend it. If you have a very successful store, think about expanding. If your store offers a product, think about doing e-com. Think about putting your stuff on Amazon or the internet, right? Start to be smart about what you're doing and how to leverage, play the leverage game with the internet. If you are maybe in the service, maybe you're in service space, you're a real estate agent or a broker, or you have an idea or whatever it may be, guys. The way to accelerate that is to build a brand around who you are, tackle that by maybe, for example, when I launched a show 36 months ago called Bar Talk and Coffee, I did not expect to have created District Media Press. But what I did with that was I made apparel so I can monetize it, did videos all the time, people came to me, so I started to scale up, we launched a company around it to help individuals that turned into small businesses, but we still have the apparel, right? So it's like you want to be very smart about how you're accelerating your income as a brand, because even if you offer, let's say that you're, again, in real estate, I'm just using that example, it's okay to make money other than selling houses. If you build a brand around yourself, you can then get sponsorships, right? And then after you get sponsorships, then you can get paid to speak somewhere. If you get paid to speak somewhere, then you're going to get paid to speak somewhere else. And so it starts to be what I like to call just a snowball effect. So don't be so locked in to, oh, I only sell houses, or I only run a restaurant, or I only do that. Be very smart, because when you start to brand yourself, you start to create the ultimate financial expansion for yourself. And that's how you accelerate your income. Listen, I'll go back to, again, what Warren Buffett said. Warren Buffett said, make money and then have your money make you money. A part of doing that is making sure that when you want to accelerate your income from an idea, that you're doing it very smart. I can guarantee you right now, mark my words, over the next 12 months, I will get a shoe deal with Reebok. Guaranteed. Guaranteed, or K-Swiss or someone. I will get a shoe deal that will be very, very lucrative off of me as an individual brand, an entrepreneur. So you want to operate like athletes do, or like movie stars do. You could do that. We're in a different era. Businesses are looking at you very differently. Even if you own a business, you can be the rock star of your business, and you own your business, and people are throwing money at you and coming in your doors because you're everywhere. So you want to be everywhere, and that's how you accelerate your income. Now, let's talk about a vision, value, and change, because this is really, really going to be important. Vision, value, and change. So what I mean by vision, value, change, the one thing that people lack is vision. When there's no vision, the people perish, okay? That dates all the way back to the Bible. Whether or not you believe or not, I'm just telling you it does. So you have to have a vision that is 10 times what you think you can pull off. I'll say it again, you guys. If you want to make $4 or $5 grand a month on a brand, an idea, part-time, spare time, right? Or you want to make 10 grand a month as a real estate agent, or you want to do $100 million in sales. I'm just throwing out numbers. You want to do $10 million a year in revenue. Your vision should be 10 times what you want. And I got that from Grant Cardone. I read his book, 10X, and I realized, damn, I wasn't thinking big enough. $1 million a year, I need to be doing $1 million a month. So make sure that your vision is 10 times greater than what you can actually comprehend. Don't be afraid of it. Trust me, when I wrote down the goal of $1 million a month, my stomach turned. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna kill me. But it's not the truth. See, when I did that, I ended up landing a partnership with Ecom, and in 14 days, 15 days, $1 to $2 grand a day in sales. That's in 15 days. What things happen in 15 months? That's, so it's when you develop a vision that is much larger than you, the floodgates and doors start to open up. That vision is incredibly strong. And let me tell you why the vision is strong too. It's going to pull you, okay? Let's be very transparent. There were closet crying moments on my journey the last 15 years. There were moments where I said, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pull this off, but I know I'm going to be able to pull it off. And the thing is that if my vision wasn't really big, I would have quit. I would have said, okay, I'll just close the door. I'll be done. I'll just do something else. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a job. Who knows? But when the vision is very clear, it pulls you. It starts to pull you to where you want to go. And it's unknowingly. It really is, because you won't know why your gut says keep going when the going gets tough. But when the vision is there, then the how-to, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters, because you're going to go after what you want. You're going to execute on your brand. Because when you execute on a brand and launch something, and any small business will know this, or any business owner will know this, when you launch it, that's just the start. You're gonna go through challenges and pitfalls, and you're gonna have to pivot. I mean, I haven't gotten to the word pivot yet in business. I talked about it when I spoke at Sac State recently, which was, if you look at Amazon started out selling books. Now they're getting Golden Globes, Emmys. They're like, so at some point, while you're trying to figure this thing out, and it may take you years to try to figure it out, it may take you years to get on the right path. Then because your vision's clear, then you might want to start to pivot. And I'll talk about that in another video, but your vision it's got to pull you, because the going's going to get tough. And if it were easy to be an entrepreneur, everyone would do it. It is not easy. Do not get fooled by Instagram models. It is not just taking pictures and posting product. When the market tanks at some point, and which it will, they will be out of a job, and they'll be taking pictures in a trailer park. Just keeping it real. So let's talk about value. This is the one thing that I think I really love the most about building something, is that I don't care what you do for a living. If you can add value to somebody, whether it's informing them of why you make the greatest steak in your restaurant, or it's a wine saying, hey, if you like to drink red wine and you're a Cab or Merlot drinker, this is why you should pair your wine with your homemade chicken. And let me give you some recipes from our chef over here, because it's like, if you can, that's how you build brand equity, guys. Like, that's how you add value to people. It doesn't matter what you're selling. If you can be, again, a real estate agent, or you can be in a home-based business, why wouldn't you launch a podcast? Why would you not go interview some of the greatest? Listen, we like to talk about ourselves. Les Brown is going to be on my podcast. I've interviewed Les Brown, Trent Shelton. I mean, Trent Shelton has almost 10 million followers. One up from that is I got to go interview Tyler Perry or Oprah. So it's like, when you can add value no matter what industry that you're in. The key is you got to get creative, because in business, creativity is the ultimate variable. And it's the variable for success, it's the variable for competitive edge, it's the variable for innovation, and it's going to be the variable for you succeeding long-term at scale and accelerating your brand and your income. So you can add value, but you got to get creative, okay? I can't give you specific ideas because it's just not my job right now, but I will say this. Let's say that I'll give you one idea. Let's say that I run a nursery, plants, right? Not like a kids, but nursery, right? Then I'm going to do a behind-the-scenes video of what makes the soil the way it is, and what plant is like the best in the sun. And I'm going to give you information. See, we tend to believe that if we give information that we're not going to generate any revenue. That's the furthest from the truth. When you provide more value to people for what you have, whether it's a product or service, I'm telling you right now, you will generate more revenue and more customers than you could ever think about. And this last one is change. It's interesting. We've seen this a lot. We're in a partnership right now, Ecom, with we have the greatest mentors on the planet. They do about 10 grand a day in sales, and they were telling me that some of their students started to make $1,000 a day, $2,000 a day, and they turned off the ads. They turned off the ads that were working. And he's like, "Why would you turn them off?" And I said, "Why would they do that?" And he said, "Because self-sabotage is real." And so when you're launching something, you start to scale up and you start to make some noise, you're a business and you start to scale up and you start to accelerate your income, or you just start to be the face of your own company and you start to get a lot of feedback and it starts to go to your head a little bit, remember, guys, that you do not want to self-sabotage yourself. Ego, because when you change, it can be for good or bad. I've always kind of tried to keep myself in check, but I know for certain, as I've been present on this journey, being featured in Entrepreneur Magazine and Thrive Global and Mogul, all of my dreams coming true at 36, I can let that get to my head and I can let the change ruin me. I can let the change make me sabotage my success, and I won't do that. So as you start to scale up and what that looks like, remember that let the change you for good. Don't let it change you for bad, because money doesn't change you, it just exposes who you really are, and I've seen it happen every single day. So let's talk about the plan of action right now, okay? Because this webinar has been going on for probably about 30 minutes now. The plan of action is this, okay? As you launch your idea, you want to pick a platform. And as you pick the platform, you want to pick the method. What does that mean? Do you want to get your message out there, your brand out there through video, audio, or written form? All of these things matter. When you do that, then you want to focus on paid ads. I know this is a difficult part. People don't understand this. I see business owners not understanding marketing and they're boosting posts and they think that that's going to get them seen. And the problem is that when you boost a post, you're just losing money. You're just losing money. You're losing money, losing money, losing money, and losing money. And you also want to hustle. I did a post up on Facebook yesterday, and I had my notepad out, and I said, even though we're on track to do 30 grand a month in sales, and I'm partnered with the biggest platform on the planet next to Amazon, I'm still cold calling businesses to get them as a client, because that's what hustle means to me. And so as you focus on this is going to be the variable between you sustaining and you growing and you dying out. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. All right, there's got to be more to this. And there is, you guys. I want to teach you exactly how I've been able to do everything that I've done outside of this webinar. I want to be able to put you in a position to where you have multiple streams of income. I want to teach you how to do $1 to $2 grand a day on Ecom. I'm going to teach you how to pick the right method for you specifically. I'm going to teach you how to get yourself features as a business owner or an individual to build up that street cred. I'm going to teach you how to do the back end of Facebook ads. Instagram and Facebook right now, they are still lower than any ad platform with the most attention and the most ROI. I'm telling you, because all of our Ecom ads right now are running on Facebook only. That's it. We've reached 1 million people. It's crazy. I'm reaching 1 million people a month from my Facebook page. I'm going to teach you guys how to hustle every single day and what that looks like, whether you have a product, a service, or an idea. I'm going to teach you exactly how to position yourself to potentially have a partnership like I have with Facebook. I'm going to teach you as a small business owner how to elevate and accelerate your income. I'm going to teach you guys how to create the best plan of action for you. And here's the best part about it. The first 100 people that take action right now, because there's a link somewhere near this video, the first 100 people that take absolute action, you are going to get a one-on-one session with me, whether it's Skype or phone call for 30 minutes, the first 100. Now, as you guys may know, this webinar is a lot of people on this webinar right now. I have over almost 100,000 followers between Instagram and Facebook, and I know that this is going to get to the 100 really, really quickly. I want to literally do a free consultation with you for 30 minutes and then have you walk yourself through the 30 videos that I have coming out that's going to help you guys succeed. This course, I'm telling you, it's been a long time in the making. I've literally put one foot in front of the other every single day to make sure that I was achieving my goals, and the amount of feedback I've gotten on the amount of people who are looking for help, whether you are a small business owner or you are a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a business owner, or someone who wants to just launch an idea. I made this course for you guys, and I dive deep, okay? I spent hours upon hours working on this course just for you. So what are you going to get? You're going to get 24 videos You're going to get massive amounts of audios, bonus audios. It's really 30 total. So it's 24 videos and it's 24 videos and 6 audios. You're also going to get the exact blueprint. I'm going to show you, literally walk you through what paid ads look like. I'm going to walk you through how to pick the platform. I'm going to walk you through literally with some of the best people on the planet on how to get yourself featured in some of the biggest publications on the planet. Mogul has 400,000 followers and they featured me. You know, Entrepreneur, Success Magazine. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And if you're a business, for example, let's say you're a winery, and you want more winery sales, and you want some more street cred, you're gonna learn how to get yourself a feature. Who doesn't want their own, like if I went through Entrepreneur, Success Magazine, or Mogul, and I saw your wine being featured, I'm going to want to buy it as a customer and someone who does love to drink wine. I'm gonna teach you how to take your product, let's say it is wine, how to run ads and start to generate income with wine sales from your website, all through paid ads. So there's a lot of things I'm going to teach you guys, and this course couldn't be more exciting for me because I know that there's a limit. I'm only going to take on 1,000 people, and that's going to probably happen really, really quickly. The first 100 get a session with me, Skype, phone call, or even whatever you guys prefer. If you're local, face-to-face even. And then I have an exclusive mastermind. So I'm doing a 2-hour workshop that's going to be fully recorded with 20 other business owners, and you're going to get instant access to that as soon as it's done and it comes out, which is happening really, really soon. So you're going to get a huge amount of information on how you can how to get out of your own head, launch an idea. From there, how to execute on that idea, how to brand that idea, how to get seen with that idea, how to day trade attention for that idea, how to even, what's the best posting method for you and the idea, how to do paid and organic method, how to really, really dominate in your niche, in your space, and above all, hustle to make it happen. Thanks for watching this webinar, you guys. Take action right now. The first 100 get a 30-minute phone call with me or one-on-one or Skype session. Do not wait. Take action right now. I appreciate you guys. I'll end this like I do all my videos. Be bold, be great, and above all, be you.